Hi, I'm Alyssa. Welcome. Today I'm going to share with you this little guy's birth story. His birth was amazing. It was like my ideal, everything I prayed for and more. And dare I say, I even had fun. Of course, I didn't enjoy so much the pain of it. There's so much that I did enjoy about it. What's the matter, buddy? So I'm going to share with you his birth story to the best of my memory. It was actually pretty fast labor and delivery. And I think that my memory of this one is a lot better than what it was of my first. But I also have this sheet that my doula filled out for me. I got to have a doula this time and highly recommend. Oh my goodness. It's just such a different experience having a doula. But she filled out this paper for me. She was taking notes the whole time throughout the labor and delivery. And so that's really cool to have like the exact times of things, and I really appreciate her doing that. It helps me to recollect a lot better as well. So I'm just going to start from the very beginning. I was 41 weeks pregnant. The week before, when I was 40 weeks pregnant, I was having a lot of consistent Braxton Hicks contractions, and they were kind of like take your breath away, tight, but not painful at all. So I called my doctor and I said, I'm having contractions like really consistently, but they're not painful. He said, well, wait until they're painful for an hour and then give me a call. That didn't happen until a week later. I was 41 weeks and I was tossing and turning all night long. I wasn't sleeping well. Up until that point, I was actually sleeping okay for being so pregnant. I was 41 weeks, so I'm tossing and turning. I don't sleep well, and I'm like, well, I guess it's about time that I don't get a good night's sleep because I am so pregnant. But then at 2:45 a.m., I get a painful contraction that really feels like heavy, bad menstrual cramps that starts in my back and comes around. This is not like what the Braxton Hicks were at all. Braxton Hicks contractions were like just a tightening of my stomach. I wasn't sure what early labor would feel like because I was induced with my first, and it was just so intense so quickly. So I wasn't sure what to expect. But this is what happened. 2:45, I had a contraction, started in my back, was like cramping, came around, and I thought, well, that kind of hurt. But I was kind of in denial because I really thought this baby was never coming out of me. At 41 weeks, you just give up. So 6 minutes later, I had another one. And I was like, okay, if I have another one, then I think something's going on. 6 minutes later, another one. After 3 of these contractions, 6 minutes apart, I called my mom and she was on her way here. I was only 3 contractions in and I knew I was in labor and it had just started. So after about 5 of these contractions, I was like, there's just no way I'm getting any sleep, right? So I get up, I get ready, I clean up the house, and I'm just stopping for these contractions in my house, and then I would get up and continue cleaning, continue prepping for the hospital. And it was kind of nice to labor at home for that time because the contractions were intense. I couldn't talk through them. I was starting to just drop to my knees on the floor and be on my hands and knees breathing through these contractions. They were painful and they were coming quickly. They were anywhere from 3 minutes to 5 minutes apart. But it was nice to be in my home laboring for that time, just because it was a good distraction. Like the contractions were painful, but then I was like busy doing things. I wasn't just sitting in a hospital room waiting for the next one. So my parents get here, an hour, 45 minutes later. They're here around 5 o'clock in the morning. Yes. Around 5 o'clock in the morning, and as soon as they get here, we leave for the hospital. So we get to the hospital probably around 5:30, 5:45. So the nurse comes in, asks questions, you do some paperwork. They checked me. I was 5 centimeters according to the nurse who checked me. I was 5 centimeters whenever I got there. dilated, and they asked me if I wanted to get a doula, if they should call one. And I kind of went back and forth. Before then, I thought, I'm definitely going to get a doula. The hospital provides doulas. I didn't have a private doula. The hospital provided doulas, and so I thought, well, why not, right? Well, once I got there, I started thinking, well, I don't know this person. I've never met this person. It'll be strange having someone else in the room with us, you know, just me and my husband and this other person that we didn't know. And so I was kind of worried about like my husband's comfort about it too, and of course he's like, do what you need to do, you know, whatever. I asked the nurse, I was like, well, what if I don't like her? And she said, if you don't want her, then just tell her to leave, you know, they're not offended, that's totally fine. So I was concerned that I would either not need her or not like her. But I decided, you know what, just call her and we'll see how it goes. And I know myself, I know that if I am in labor and there's something I don't like happening, I get a backbone and I just say what I need. Motherhood makes you quite assertive, or it does for me. So they did call the doula. I obviously am in labor, and so we leave triage and are brought to a labor and delivery room. So I get to the labor and delivery room, I put a gown on. They have these cool like Bluetooth monitors, so you don't have to wear like those things that strap you on. You can walk around. They aren't as nice as they were intended to be. They thought that like people would be able to walk down the hallway in labor and walk around out there, but the Bluetooth, it just doesn't carry that far. So I wasn't able to leave the room, but I was able to walk around the room, use the bathroom if I needed to. So that was kind of nice. I was able to get a ball, a birthing ball, and I asked for that as soon as I got in there and got dressed and was sitting on the bed. I asked for them to bring a ball in, and so I was able to bounce on that immediately. Not long after, my doula came in. So my doula arrived at 7:45, and immediately I liked her. I liked her demeanor. We clicked really well. Then my doula asked me, she said, okay, so how did you do with your first if you did it without an epidural? And I said I survived it. And that's really how I feel about it. I was suffering and I survived it. And she said, okay, well, we don't want for you to just survive it this time. And I went in thinking that that's how it was going to be. It was totally different. She got there and then I'm already on the ball, and I started to have a contraction in the middle of talking to her. And she starts talking me through this contraction. And after that first contraction that she talked me to, I was like, that she talked me through, I was like, I'm so glad you're here. Her calm voice speaking to me through the contraction made a world of difference. And I was like, this is going to be good. I can do this. So in combination with not having Pitocin and having a doula, this was just another experience, like in another world. Yes, the contractions were painful, but I was getting breaks between them. And she brought us suckers to suck on, something about like it helping progress labor, or I don't even know, something with the sucking in the roof of your mouth. She gave us suckers. Maybe they're supposed to help with the pain too. I really don't even remember. She's talking me through the contractions, sucking on suckers. We're just talking about whatever through in between the contractions. Time is passing quickly and it's bearable. The contractions are getting very strong. They're getting really painful, but I'm managing very well. Okay, so my doctor arrives and he checks me and he says, I'm 5 centimeters. What? But I was 5 centimeters a few hours ago. And my doula explained afterwards that his 5 centimeters could be different from the nurse's 5 centimeters. So I might have progressed in that time. Every time they check for dilation, it's a guess. I may have progressed a little bit during that time, but he said I was 5. And he said, you know how we can move things along? I can break your water. And I hesitated because I knew that once my water was broken, it was going to progress quickly and it was going to be very painful. Things were going to get intense. And I hesitated, and he said, you can believe what you saw on the internet, or you can believe me, who's been doing this for however many years. And I was like, no, it's not that. I just know it's about to get intense. But I thought, you know what? These contractions are getting very painful. Do I want to do these every 2.5 to 3 minutes for the next few hours? Or do I want to like have a baby right now? I just kind of threw it out of my mind, and I took a leap, and I said, break my water, and I'm not going to think about it anymore. I'm just not going back. Just do it. So he broke my water, and immediately things got intense. With my daughter's birth, my firstborn, whenever my water was broken by the doctor, it was like this huge gush immediately. With him, it was not a huge gush. It was like a little bit of a gush, and then every time I would have a contraction and he would move down, more water would come out. And I was told that was because he was already really low, so he was like blocking the water from coming out because he was already so low. And immediately I felt pressure. I felt him moving down every contraction. I couldn't sit on the birthing ball anymore. After he broke my water, there wasn't really a break between contractions anymore. I knew that things were really progressing, but I chose to get up and get back on the ball. They put like a pad over the ball, and they put the mesh underwear on me with a pad in it. And I soaked through that like immediately. That was pointless. But I'm sitting on the ball, and after like 2 contractions, I'm like, I cannot sit anymore because I felt like I was sitting on him. So I stand up, and I'm laboring with my hands on the bed. I'm losing the breaks between the contractions. It's less and less of a break between contractions. The contractions are coming on, and they're fading, but not completely going away before another one comes on, which is transition. And so they put the ball on the bed for me to lean on the ball while I'm standing. At that point, whenever you are in transition, you don't care. You're not thinking about anybody else, what anybody else is doing, what anybody else thinks. I'm just telling them what I need. As far as I know, what I need. Got through a contraction with a ball on the bed, and then I just rolled the ball off. I was like, take the ball. I'm getting on the bed, and I'm doing it quickly before the next contraction gets really intense. So I get on the bed, and I'm on all fours, and I break into a sweat. And this is a sign baby is coming. You see on the movies, they're, just drenched in sweat. And I thought that was like from pushing, from all the hard work. But it is just a part of labor, especially a part of transition, that once I'm in transition, I just break into a sweat. And so I'm sweating. I am burning up. I tell my husband, take my socks off. So I'm on all fours on the bed. I have a gown on. I think I might have 2 gowns on, like one on my back. But I didn't even want that on anymore. And it's probably just hanging off of me. And I'll tell you in a minute why I think that it's hanging off of me in the back. So I'm on the bed on all fours, and I'm like, take my socks off. So my husband takes my socks off, and I'm like, take my underwear off. And I don't know if I told him to take the mesh underwear off because I was so uncomfortable with it on. I think I just really wanted to be naked. But also there was so much pressure, I think I knew he was coming very soon. So he takes my mesh underwear off of me for me, and I am on all fours, and I end up with my forearms on the bed and my head on my hands and my butt in the air, and I have no underwear on. And my husband told me later, he was like, I was kind of embarrassed. Like, the doctor came in and your butt is just in the air. But I did not care. And I still don't care. I mean, I was having a baby, and I needed to be as naked as possible. And that position is what felt okay at the moment and is what felt right. So I was naked bum in the air, my head on my hands, and the nurse comes in and she checks me. She didn't make me, I did get on my side for that. Back up. The nurse checked me before the doctor came in because she checked me and I was over 9 centimeters, but she said, I'm not going to fully check you because you're already in a lot of discomfort, and I just laid on my side for that. She was like, baby's coming, we're getting the doctor. So called the doctor in here. I end up back on my forearms, my rear end's in the air. Eventually I'm able to lay on my side, but I could not close my legs. That was like the worst feeling, was trying to close my legs while laying on my side. And I was like, nope, I need my legs apart. So they get me a peanut ball and put that between my legs. And I was like, it's not enough. It's not enough. Like, I needed my legs to be further apart while laying on my side. I couldn't take it. So I think they ended up putting a pillow and the peanut ball between my legs, but it still didn't feel like it was enough. So the doula ended up holding my leg up. And so the doula and my husband were holding my leg up in the air while I'm laying on my side and going through labor. I mean, I was just, everything was out in the open. So my doctor's here, and I can't even remember if he checked me or not. I just remember them. No, I don't think that he did. I don't think he checked me. I mean, it was obvious the baby was coming, and my body had already started pushing, and my doula is talking me through these contractions because my body is pushing, doctor's not ready. They're like, don't push. And I was really proud of myself for how well I was able to relax and get through those contractions without pushing. Because whenever your body is ready, it is ready. And it is very difficult to not just push whenever your body is telling you to do that. So I'm relaxing as much as I can through these contractions to not push my baby out yet because they're not ready. So they roll me over or help me over to my back, and I'm kind of like sitting up. The bed is like pushed up like as much as it could be for me to be like sitting up, and my legs in the stirrups. And then the doctor asked me if I tore or had an episiotomy with my first. I told him I tore second degree inside and out. And he said, okay, let's try not to tear this time. Just do what I say. And I could hear what he was saying, but it was difficult for his words to like process in my brain. And so he's saying, okay, push. Okay, don't push. Okay, little push. Okay, stop pushing. I'm just not processing what he's saying to me in time for me to actually do what he said. But my husband was in my ear, and I think I just kind of take to his voice better. Whatever the doctor, and it's like he instinctively knew that I needed to be told again what the doctor was saying. So the doctor would say, okay, push. And then Chip, my husband, would say, okay, push, Alyssa, push. And then the doctor would say, stop pushing. And my husband would say, stop pushing, Alyssa, stop. And I was like listening to him. Whatever he said, that's what I would do. And so I was able to push and not push. He was trying to help me to not tear with him coming so quickly. We did that through one contraction. And then he told me to push again. And I was like, okay, wait a minute, because the contraction was gone. So I took a deep breath and I started to push again. And then that contraction started to come back. Yeah, I pushed him out in 2 pushes. It was only 5 minutes. And I would have pushed him out a lot quicker than that had the doctor not been helping me to not tear. I still ended up tearing, 2nd degree tearing, but only on the outside. He said I had lacerations that he wasn't going to stitch up because he thought that would just do me more harm than good. I didn't tear on any internally this time. And I would have torn a lot worse had he not been helping me out to not tear, and us trying to slow it down as much as we could. Even with us putting on the brakes and trying to slow him down from coming out so quickly, he still came out in 2 pushes and 5 minutes total. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot to tell you this part. Excuse me. So I push his head out, right? And then, I keep pushing for his body to come out. And the doctor starts saying, Alyssa, open your eyes, open your eyes. And it's really hard to do whenever you're like pushing, right? My eyes are closed whenever I'm pushing. He's like, open your eyes, look at your baby. And so I open my eyes, barely. I'm just really trying to open them because I'm not really pushing, but my body is pushing still, even though like his body's already almost fully out. And he said, take your baby, take your baby. And he guided my hands to my baby, and I pulled him out myself and put him on my chest. And that was amazing to deliver my own baby. I am so thankful that my doctor let me do that. I don't know how he knew that that's something that I would want. I didn't even know I wanted to do that. But to get to pull my baby out myself from my body and put him on my chest, it was amazing. And my doctor says, Moose, if you don't have a name for him, his name is Moose. Because he was so chunky. He was only 20 inches in length, and he was 8 pounds, 3 ounces. And I know that people have babies that are a lot bigger than that, but he's just chunk. His thighs were so thick. His hands are big. His cheeks are big. And of course, they look even bigger whenever they're born and they're swollen a little bit. Which he's just a big baby. He is. I mean, obviously, he's already 12 pounds. And he's 5 weeks old. It was amazing. And the doctor really made it fun. I think that because I had the doula talking me through my contractions and getting me through the labor part really well, and that I was able to manage the labor part so well with the doula's help. And of course my husband was there, and he is great moral support. He is great emotional support. Doesn't leave my side. He's there for whatever I need. And to have him there, talking to me for the doctor, reiterating what the doctor is saying, just holding my hand. He's great support. But I am so glad that I had the doula there who was skilled in talking me through those contractions, because that made a world of difference. I know I've already said that like 60 times, but I will say it till the day I die. Get a doula. Get a doula. And then the doctor, he was just so jolly and just upbeat and fun. And so just like the little jokes that he cracked throughout, and his demeanor and cheerfulness, and he was just so excited for this baby to come too, or at least he acted so, that it made the experience just over the top wonderful. And him letting me be so involved and pulling the baby out myself. He wanted me to cut the cord, but those last couple contractions, I was hyperventilating and my hands were going numb. And so I didn't feel like I could steadily hold the scissors to cut the cord, but that would have been really cool too. But my husband got to cut the cord, so that's okay. And so after he was born and I put him on my chest, like, just praise is coming off my lips, and I'm thanking God for this baby and for getting us through it. And I'm just saying, thank you, God. Praise you, God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And he's like, amen, and like gave me his elbow to like hit elbows. So I'm like scrunching over my newborn baby. Like, I think the cord was still attached, and we're like hitting elbows over the mess. And that was really cool, like to be a person of faith and to have my doctor have the same faith and be so joyful about this new life with me. That was really cool. So I am so thankful to my doctor and my doula. I am so thankful to have this sweet baby. He was 8 pounds, 3 ounces, 20 inches long. He has hair. He has sideburns. He's such a little man. He was born with sideburns. Like, I'll try to zoom in on it for you, but it's so cute. He's covered in hair. Like, it's white hair on his back, but his back is just like covered in long white hair. It's so funny. He's just such a little man, and I love him so much. We're doing very well. adjusting at home. Everything's going really smoothly. I do intend to have some postpartum updates coming as well as baby updates. I hope that I get on that and share more with y'all because there's lots to share, but we'll see what I get around to doing. I just have to throw my perfectionism out the window and go for it, right? If you want to link your birth story in the comments below so that I can watch yours, I'm totally fascinated with birth stories. So link them in the comments and I'll watch them. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe if you want to see some postpartum baby updates. And of course I have pregnancy videos posted already, and I might be posting a couple more pregnancy videos that I had recorded before I went into labor and didn't quite get around to editing and uploading. So we'll see. Thank you for being here. I look forward to meeting you in the comments, and I'll see you soon. Bye.